Thanks for checking out this video. Don't forget, like and subscribe. What a day for you to join us, Lance. Your boss has got heat.
That's what I hear, although I have probably less knowledge than you do about it, but...
Well, you're going to find out here pretty soon. Well, the big story is that a bunch of AEW versus TNA matches were scheduled to take place over WrestleMania weekend and elsewhere, and they are no longer taking place. There was a Leon Slater versus Ricochet match scheduled for the Mark Hitchcock Memorial Show. That match is off. MJF versus Nick Nemeth for Create-A Pro is off. And then there was a situation where Moose got pulled from Maple Leaf Wrestling. There was a Maple Leaf Wrestling show that Moose was scheduled to be on, and he was pulled. So when I heard that, well, quite frankly, I jumped to a conclusion that apparently is not true. I thought this was going to be a situation like we had seen with CMLL and AAA, where one side put the hammer down and basically said there cannot be people from this promotion and that promotion not just working together, but on the same show, okay? Can't even be on the same show together. So what it appears to be, from talking to people today, is that AEW and TNA wrestlers can work on the same show in different matches, but they cannot work together, okay? Which actually is interesting because the Relentless Pro Wrestling show in Spokane that I was at a couple of weeks ago, where I got frickin' tased, that show had a TJP versus Mike Santana match. And TJP, I don't know his exact contractual status, but he's working for AAA, which is a WWE company, and he wrestled Santana, who is the TNA champion. And so I just remember watching it going, wow, this is actually really cool. We got basically a WWE guy versus a TNA guy, but it's a AAA guy versus a TNA guy. And it was cool. And granted, those are still going to take place because TNA and WWE have a working agreement. But
Santana was on NXT.
It's even more bizarre to think about the idea of, man, we're going to see a TNA guy who TNA works with WWE. We're going to see a TNA guy against an AEW guy. And, MJF, AEW champion, Nick Nemeth, that's a big match. And Leon Slater and Ricochet, they really wanted to do that match. Well, now none of these matches are taking place. And why? No one's talking, but I think obviously the WWE probably laid the hammer down. And there is a story out there. That allegedly Carlos Silva got very angry when AEW ran a collision on Thursday, basically head-to-head with TNA, and decided that's it. Now, I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's a public story. I know people have been discussing that. But I think the issue is mostly WWE just doesn't want a promotion they're working with to have their talent work matches with AEW wrestlers, where in many cases those AEW wrestlers are going to beat the TNA wrestlers. I'm skeptical that Nick Nemeth was going to beat MJF. That's just me. But the matches are now off, and a lot of people are very upset about it. MJF went on Busted Open this morning. He said, let's talk about TNA, the fact they're pulling young talent off of shows, and they're barely paying them any money whatsoever and telling them, hey, you can't wrestle because there's a guy from another promotion that's wrestling on the show. Does that help young talent grow? Does that help young talent become better inside the squared circle? Does that help young talent put food on their plate so they can eat? What Carlos Silva is doing is disgusting. And if anybody supports him or that company at this point, it's very hard for me to wrap my head around. Now, granted, I think MJF is potentially confused about this. Because like I said, I believe the deal is you can still have TNA and AEW wrestlers on the same show,
Well,
They
Nick's
just
still on that show.
cannot wrestle each other. Yes. So I think that's what's going on, but he did call him a dumb MFer in his social media post on Thursday. So he's mad. He wanted that match, and so did Nemeth.
Yeah, well, I would like to point out that if he thinks not letting them wrestle AEW talent on indie shows is taking food out of their mouths, I would say MJF saying don't support that company is also taking food out of their mouths.
Well, that is true. Well, Carlos Silva apparently told Fightful it was due to partner conflicts, which of course sounds like WWE. In fact, what else would it be?
I think that is our partner.
What other partner conflicts would we be talking about? Everyone, make sure you grab your tickets for the F4W convention in Las Vegas coming up over WrestleMania weekend. We got a lot of exciting stuff going on, including live Q&As and podcasts. There's going to be 2 of them. One with myself and Vinny, the other with myself and Dave Meltzer. We'll be doing a live Q&A for both of those shows as well. We've got an awesome dinner. Texas Day Brazil.